Hello, thanks for joining me. I've put just a few little bits and pieces together for you today just to get me back on track of making a video. So it's imperfect, not very much editing, and I've put a chat that I was going to put at the beginning, but it seemed not the right way to start, so I'm putting it after, and some other bits and pieces you can see on my table what I'm up to. All right. I've got myself in a little nest again, surrounded by supplies. Just yesterday I thought I'd done 50, but I'd actually done 60 boards. So sort of an off-white taupey sort of colour, a lemony off-white yellow. These ones are sort of a bit rougher, a bit pastel-y greenish, and pale pink, black, and this kind of gum green. And then just this morning I did some pale blues because I wanted a pale blue background. So I went from kind of almost not much at all to preparing 60, I think, 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, no, 70. I've actually done 70 backgrounds now to get myself bobbing along. I have a really big desire to have 100 done and take them with me to Brisbane, which is a little bit of an extreme deadline, but I'm gently holding it. And so what's making me pretty excited at the moment is working, sort of bouncing off the one I made for Amie and making another for me just like it. And then also this one I was really inspired by, and so I found some photos of Aura that I took. She's wearing her little red jacket and she was sitting on the floor, and I had put a book down next to her, and that's out the door, and so that's one of her looking out that way. So I was wondering if I might be able to use that sometime. And then this little one of her looking out toward the door, and so I've used that and drawn from that shape and put her in this design. And what I love about this, painting the boards pale like this, is that this one is sort of reminding me of a sketchbook page, the off-white, warm white sort of colour. So I'm just sort of trying to really encourage myself to just play along and just go one step at a time what's going to happen. And I tried to do a whole lot of sketches this morning to sort of kind of go, well, why don't I do 10 sketches and then paint them in? And that wasn't working, so I had to just sort of let that idea go, and I did three little drawings. So that one, and then the pink. So again, sort of playing with this idea with Aura sitting at a typewriter, and I liked having the wall behind, and then I tried to sort of zoom in a little and have it come a little bit closer. And I have been making these little quotes and little messages to be able to put them on the walls. So this is the current moment that is delighting me, based on what I spontaneously made for Amie. And then I have a couple in my little journal. So that's what's delighting me at the moment with my little Aura project. So yeah, I wonder what else would I include today. I think what I'm trying to allow myself or encourage myself is to have self-compassion for a start, and be really kind of celebrate the fact that I have a whole bunch of art photographed, catalogued and ready to go to the Brisbane Affordable Art Fair. And a few of the pieces have been that were made previous to this recent time, but they haven't been in the Brisbane Art Fair. So I thought, well, I will include those. And I've done a whole bunch which relate very much to a tea theme, a tea and sort of community. I think I might talk about them in another video when I go around. I'm hanging them up in my little dining area, as many as we can. We're going to hang, and so that I can make a video going around and talking about the pieces as a whole collection. I thought it'd be really nice for me to have that to look back on and to remember them, because hopefully I won't be bringing a bunch of them home after the show. The idea and the intention, the wish, the hope, the desire is that they find new homes. So that's what I'm working toward. I have one more week, and then the following week I'll be doing a bit of a road trip actually on my own. I don't think I've done a long road trip like that on my own ever. No, when I drove all the way down here, when we brought Aura down here after moving house, my sister joined me. So that was such a lovely thing for her to do. So it'll be interesting for me to do. It's like a 10.5-hour drive I'm going to do over 2 days. And so I'll probably line up some podcasts and some music and snacks, lots of snacks, and thermos of chai or two, and make sure I stop along the way and take good care. But that will be quite a empowering thing to do, really, a road trip, to take my artwork north for the art fair. So, you know what, I think I might bundle up a few of these pieces that I've recorded in the last couple of days. And I noticed as I just recorded talking about some of these little pieces, I have repeated myself because I forgot what I'd said the day before, which is very typical at the moment, very fried brain. So please forgive the bits that you will hear twice. But I think I really kind of want to, I sort of feel like I owe it to myself, or I really want to get back on the track of making my YouTube videos. And even if they're not perfect, that there's progress by just showing up and making something, not having to over-edit, but show it as it is. So thanks for being here, and do, by all means, if you enjoyed it, comment. I will read all the comments and get back to you, and I love hearing from you. All right, see ya. Welcome to my little nest. I haven't put together a video for a little while, so I'm not really sure where this one will end up as far as the order of things, but I thought, let me just turn on the camera whilst I'm doing this little job here and have a chat. So I had planned to paint up a storm today and do a whole bunch more of these tiny paintings, which is sort of like one of my goals at the moment, to make 100 of them. As I would have mentioned in other little videos you may or may not have seen. But I do need to raise the funds to pay my credit card that I had to do a big payment for my little Aura dog dental surgery. She had quite extensive surgery. And yeah, I just emptied that lovely cushion piece that I had in my bank, which I hadn't had that for a long time, like many years. I just, me in the art business don't quite have it sorted. You would never put me in that 6-figure category thus far. What a cool idea. And I noticed the industry has moved on to 7 figures now, so it's like, oh, for goodness sake. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, you'd think that would be enough incentive for me to just keep going, but apparently not. I've got a nervous system that has all kinds of other ideas, and I'm doing my really best to look after that nervous system to the best of my ability. I've come across a fantastic new podcast, new to me, and I've been listening to quite a number of that, and I will share the link in the comments below. But she's actually renamed it. It used to be focused on chronic pain. That was more, the title had something about pain, and now it's how to trust yourself, which I just love the not just rebranding, renaming of that. It's so beautiful. So that's Anna Holtzworth. I might have that wrong. See if I put it on the screen as you're seeing this. And she's just wonderful. I'm just so enjoying her interviews. I listened to another one this morning that kind of blew me away. So anyway, that's what I'm listening to, is a bit of those podcasts. And so really, really trying to just be really kind to myself. And so I just noticed I started these little paintings yesterday. So I've got 1, 2, 2.5 basically. I don't know where I'm taking this one, like I go great and then not too bad, and then brakes came on. Very frustrating for me. But I'm just absolutely loving the concept that I've happened upon here, based on the little ones that I had in my little notebook. This funny little one that looked more like a cat than Aura. So I made the change and actually took some photos of Aura from behind, and so that is actually the shape of little Aura there, more like it. And she actually has a little red, sort of a puffer jacket. It's not like very thick, but it's like just like this. And so what I'm actually hanging out with is the idea of having a lot of line work. And I've realized in studying with Wendy Brightbill, really trying to hone in on what it is I want in my style, what are some features of artwork that I absolutely love. And I actually realized I love line work. I really love it, even though I guess it borders on illustration, and it borders on then being a drawing. So that's what I'm wrestling with, I think, at the moment, is shall I just accept that I am in a space and time that drawing like this and then adding a bit of color is my favorite way to create these little pieces in this little subject matter, and not be so hard on myself trying to get it right and try and paint painterly and not have little line work coming in. I have been using this one can be a bit silly when it gets wet. It's a bit annoying, so I've been trying out this new one here, graphic fine liner. It says waterproof, acid free, archival quality, pigmented ink, so that should be totally fine. And I notice how much I adore my little drawings. I just love them. They bring me a lot of joy, these little sketches. And so I thought, what's wrong with doing sketches straight onto the boards? And so I'm in this space of just trying to give myself permission to just do it then. Just do that. Who says sketches have to be on paper and paintings on wood or canvas? It's like there's breaking down some of these barriers or stories that I've got within. And I just wanted to point out these little notes on the wall, very inspired by the work of Amie McNee, who on her Instagram, she does these big, she does big paintings, but she also does little notes on small pieces of paper, napkins, anything. And she's writing down her thoughts and then sharing them on her Instagram. And so I am having these little notes of things that I either hear in a podcast, read in a book, things that just drop into my mind. And they're sort of like little notes to myself that I'm actually putting them on the walls as if they were posters. And the tiny format of this is really working. I love it. It's delighting me. I'm having trouble coming up with getting myself to create new videos for my vlog because I felt overwhelmed in my art practice, deadlines, etc. So I thought, why don't I just go gently, and I'm going to read you a little piece of Amie's book to put in this video. So this is in the comparison chapter, I believe, on jealousy and comparison. Comparison with other people's process. And since I had just been recording and talking a little bit about my own process and how I'm trying to figure it out by doing and coming up against like putting on the brakes and overthinking it a bit. So it'd be interesting to see what Amie says. While we might be able to appreciate our art as unique and our own, we also have to watch out that we don't compare our creative process to others as well. We can get so fixated on how the greats approach their art. We become obsessed with asking any artist we meet how they organize their days, how many words do they write, how long do they spend in the studio, what method do they use to get in character. The result is often that we find our own methods wanting, simply because they are different. They spend 7 hours a day at their craft. I spend only half an hour. They use the expensive materials. I can afford only the ones made for kids. They have the best microphones, whereas mine were the cheapest and I got them in a Black Friday sale. There is nothing wrong with wanting to know how other people work, especially if you are not happy with your creative process and are looking to switch things up. As I previously mentioned, I'm not super concerned about you being jealous of other people's routines because you can use that jealousy as a roadmap. I was extremely jealous of those who got to work full-time at their craft for years. Again, I used it as my compass. The jealousy informed me of my desires. The problem arises when we get in a pattern of comparison. Your creative output will be different from everyone else's. Your energy levels are unique. Your life circumstances are different too. The way you ideate, the way you craft, the way you finesse, the way you edit, the way you solve problems, the way you recover, they are all entirely unique to you. And comparing your process to someone else's is unfair and not useful. In the past, I fell into the dangerous pattern of comparing my process to creatives I thought were harder workers than me. I would obsess over their full schedules and wonder, why aren't they exhausted? How can they be around so many people so often? How can they go from one event to the next? How can they take on so many projects at once? How are they so energetic? How do they stay up so late? It made me think I wasn't made for creativity or any sort of creative success. I would obsessively compare my creative process to these extroverted, type A, seemingly unstoppable artists. I had to remind myself that if I had tried to mimic what they did with their lives, not only would I hate my life, I would also be physically, mentally, spiritually broken. I am not made to have more than one big thing going on in a day. I am not made to be up past 9 p.m. I shouldn't write more than 1,500 words on a very, very good day, and usually I should write a lot fewer. I know this about myself, so why would I compare my process to that of someone who is entirely different from me? I am leading a delightfully creative life, not in spite of the fact that I honour my own rhythms and pace, but because I honour my rhythms and pace. This chronically tired and often unwell introvert is making an impact and enjoying creative abundance while honouring her body's needs. I think, that's one of the biggest reasons I bought Amie's book, why I love her podcast and love listening to her, is she has done the hard yards and she does know what it's like to have a body that she has to take care of and not push push, you know, it just doesn't work. So I really appreciate learning from people who have found another way that is more gentle for their own body. The only way you are going to find creative joy and success is if you figure out how you like to create and then honor it, no matter what it looks like when you put it side by side with JLo's routine. Remember, your pace is holy. Your rhythm is holy. Your art is holy. It's time to own it. There's some comparison prompts that I can include a couple. There is work to be done on this. Artists will always be vulnerable to jealousy and comparison, and it is up to us to make sure it does not tarnish our practice or poison our minds. Let's foster a growth mindset. Let's use these resistances to become phenomenal artists. Who do you have a habit of comparing yourself with, and why? Let's use this prompt to investigate what stories you are playing out in your mind about your own creativity. Why are you comparing yourself with them? Tread very gently here. It can be a sensitive topic. I might leave it there for journal prompts. That might be a big juicy one to work with anyway. This is Amie's book, We Need Your Art, the one that's inspired me with these posters. And so here I can show you a few of her notes. Resistance is the sign that magic awaits you. I trust my commitment to my art. Perfectionism will ruin your relationship with yourself and block you from your brilliance. Nothing truly wonderful is made without first being a little bit cringe. So I highly recommend Amie's book. I just love it. And I went to see her at her book launch, and I actually had her fix the cover because that was the original intention, and had an asterisk with it on some of the versions. I think the UK got that version, and somehow in Australia they decided we couldn't handle that word, which is very funny because I think it's one of the favourite words of a lot of Aussies.